and he shrugged slightly. "You slack." Shinigami's face turned stony. "I am not slacking. I'm flying the ship," says an AI who once told me that she had plenty of capacity to handle multiple projects at once. Are you running out of memory? Do you need a defrag? Barnabas took pleasure in waltzing directly through Shinigami's projection. "Listen, you ingrate. I'm not going to take this abuse from you." Well, may I remind you that you very much wanted to... What was it you said exactly? Ah, yes, smash some skulls in. Barnabas cast a look over his shoulder. "I can do that." "You definitely cannot. I'm not letting you off this ship and into combat until I think you're ready." Shinigami created another projection right in front of him, causing him to stop briefly on instinct. She snickered at his expression. "Ah, yes, the much-vaunted human intellect. We're much better off with you in charge." "Let's try that experiment with you," Barnabas muttered. "You'll trip over your own feet." "I will not. This body is an atrocity, and it's far too difficult to use." "So we'll take the body back," Barnabas said airily. "No! It's mine." "You don't want it, and I'm sure a Chronix could use one." Shinigami huffed, but did not answer. A moment later, Barnabas heard a sound behind him. He turned to see the body come to life. It was always a somewhat disturbing process to watch it animate, and he grimaced when the chest shuddered and the eyes blinked. It took 2 tries for Shinigami to get up off the floor. "This is harder for me than you," she complained to Barnabas. "AIs aren't meant to have to learn this sort of thing." "You wanted to learn this," Barnabas pointed out. He made sure not to let his face twitch with amusement, while the body walked jerkily toward him. "Besides, you have far more memory to create things like subroutines. You can build an entirely new way of learning to use a body. And have you seen little kids learning to walk before? They're not good at it. I saw hollows of Christina. Christina doesn't count." They made their way to the bridge, Barnabas ambling with his hands in his pockets, Shinigami swearing both out of the speakers and the mechanical body as she struggled to walk smoothly. Barnabas refrained from suggesting she speak to Jeltor. He had mentioned it already, and Shinigami had been resistant to the idea of, as she said, having a jellyfish teach me how to walk. Barnabas thought Jeltor was probably the best person to teach her, but he was trying to learn to keep his mouth shut. He wasn't very good at it yet. On the bridge, he found Tafa sitting at the navigator's desk, watching the charted route and making minute adjustments. She flashed them both a smile. "I thought you said you were flying the ship," Barnabas said to Shinigami. "I'm backup," Shinigami replied, with great dignity. "Tafa doesn't know all the ins and outs of the ship's capabilities yet." Barnabas thought Tafa was showing an innate grasp of the skill, but he did not voice that thought. He took a seat in the captain's chair and watched while Shinigami struggled to sit gracefully in the next chair over. "You're getting better at that." "I still tip at the end." She sounded disgruntled. "How do you all avoid doing that?" "It has to do with the balance of the weight and committing to the movement." "Show me," Shinigami ordered. With a roll of his eyes, Barnabas complied, standing up and sitting down several times while Shinigami watched. When he finished, he sat down and crossed his legs, only to jump as Gar's voice said, "What in the sea was that all about?" "Shinigami is learning how to sit." Barnabas looked over as Gar joined them. Gar prided himself on being more cosmopolitan than most Luvendi, who were famously insular. He was also a good deal less amoral than many others of his species, who had left their home planet. Still, the more comfortable he became with his new shipmates, the more Luvendi colloquialisms peppered his speech. Using the sea when others might use the universe was one of them. A giant ocean covered Luvendon, and the Luvendi lived in giant submerged towers. Gar sat on Barnabas's left, unaware of Shinigami leaning forward to watch. "He's more graceful than you are," Shinigami told Barnabas.